In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I make the blunt Penjamin pocket. This design will fit a standard 510 thread vape pen battery. And I'm also going to be showing you how to leave space for a button, or you can just leave it solid like this one. So let's jump right into materials. For the tip of the blunt, I used this 24/7 cotton yarn. It's got a nice shine to it. Here's the label if you want to pause to read. I'm going to be trying out this Big Twist Favorite Cotton. It's my first time trying this yarn, and it's a little bit softer than the other one I have. The other one I have here is Lily Sugar and Cream, which is also a good one. I like to pair the matte yarn with the shiny 24/7 cotton. Here I'm using my clover hooks. You're going to need a 4mm and an optional 4.5mm hook. Make sure you also have some scissors, a thin darning needle for weaving in your ends. A stitch marker is optional. I also recommend having your vape pen with you so you can check the size as you go. Grab your 4mm hook and your red yarn. We're going to make a magic ring. Here's a quick tutorial on how I do it. You start with the yarn tucked between your pinky, and you wrap over and under and make an X. You're then going to tuck that yarn into your pinky, go under and pull up a loop, twist, and pull up a loop from the same strand and pull that through. Now all of my patterns are made using a yarn under, yarn over technique for neater, tighter stitches. So you're going to yarn under, pull up a loop, and then finish your single crochet. Go ahead and repeat this till you have 8 single crochets in your magic ring. Pull your magic ring as tight as you can. Here is the very tip of our blunt. You can go ahead and cut your red yarn. Go ahead and grab your darning needle. We're going to weave that center tail into the magic ring. I will go around one full time through the back loops of the stitches. Then skip a stitch. You're going to go the opposite way to really lock that yarn into place. The last thing you want is for your magic circle to come undone while your battery's in the necklace. You can do this one more time if you want, but I will usually cut it here. Next, grab your black yarn. On your red magic circle, you're going to pull through your working yarn to reveal the last 2 loops. Then put your crochet hook back through the loops. We're going to grab our black yarn and pull through a loop of our black yarn through the 2 loops on our hook. Pull your red yarn tight. But as you work, it's important that your black yarn sits in front of your red yarn as you crochet over both yarn ends. If your red yarn sits in front of your black yarn, it will show through the color changes in the next round. Take your time working this round as you really want to make sure your black yarn sits in front of your red yarn for every stitch. And we are just continuing to put 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around. I've made it back to my first stitch, and you can go ahead and cut those 2 yarn tails that we were crocheting over. At this point, you can also cut the black yarn you were working with. And just like the red yarn, we're going to pull through that yarn tail and add our crochet hook back through the 2 loops. We're going to color change to brown. With your brown yarn, you're going to crochet over your yarn ends in the same fashion, making sure the brown yarn is sitting in front of the black yarn. You're going to work 1 single crochet in every stitch around for a total of 8 stitches. You can go ahead and cut your yarn tails. With the brown yarn, you're going to do a total of 12 rows or 96 stitches. I like to keep my finger in the center to maintain even gauge. Here's what it's looking like so far. I'm going to meet you at the end of these 12 rounds. Here's what it's looking like so far. In the next round, we're going to prepare a space for our button. If your device doesn't have a button, you can skip this step and keep crocheting until your desired length. Grab your battery. We're going to make sure the space is leveled with the button on our device. Feel free to add or remove rows as needed to fit your battery. For the next row, you're going to turn your work. Instead of chaining, pull up the loop on your hook just a little bit taller and work one single crochet into the next stitch. You're going to work a short row, a total of 6 single crochet stitches. At the end of your 6 stitches, you're going to turn your work again, then work another 6 single crochet stitches. With these 2 short rows, your battery button should have a perfect space. If it's a good fit, you can skip ahead to the part where we chain to. Now say for example, you're making this as a gift for a friend and you don't know where their battery button falls. You're going to make a couple more rows so that space is a little bit longer. Go ahead and turn your work again. You're going to make 6 more stitches. For our last short row, we're working on the right side of our work. We're going to work 6 more stitches. I always like to test to make sure my battery fits and the buttonhole is lining up with the space I made. Now go ahead and chain 2. This is going to close the space and we can continue working in the round. You're going to immediately place your next single crochet in the next stitch of the round. Here it is right there where my finger is pointing. And then just continue to work in the round, 1 single crochet in every stitch. Always count your stitches to make sure you still have 8 in the round. We've made it back to our chain 2 space, and for our next 2 single crochets, you're going to work in the chain space, not in the chains themselves. Work 2 single crochets in the chain space, and then continue working in the round. At this point, you're going to continue on working in the round until your desired length. After the button space, I usually like to do a total of 5 or 6 rounds to really bring it together. Next, we're going to prepare the chain to make a necklace. You want these 3 stitches above your button space to be the front of your pocket. You want to make sure your necklace lines up with the side of your pocket, so make a slip stitch in the last stitch. Do you see how these 3 stitches are at the front of my pocket and the last slip stitch is on the very side, so our buttonhole will be in the front of our pocket. I'm switching to my 4.5mm hook, but you can definitely just use your 4mm hook if you want. For about a 16-inch necklace, you're going to chain 120. Don't make your chains too tight. Make sure your chain is not twisted, then you're going to find the stitch directly across and slip stitch to the other side. Now you're going to slip stitch back down the chain until you reach the other side. I'm going to slip stitch in the last chain and then slip stitch to the same stitch that it's starting out of. Cut your yarn and fasten off. With your darning needle, you're going to weave your yarn in through the back loops of the last round. Make sure you don't pull this too tightly or you will cinch the top. I will pull my darning needle out through the front to cut my yarn. And you are all done with your Penjamin pocket. I hope you loved this quick and easy crochet pattern. If you want to keep up with sneak peeks and tester calls, I will link my social media below. I love seeing everyone's creations, so don't forget to tag me below. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out or leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe and keep an eye out for my next free crochet pattern.